Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about the new select recruits in Haikyu Fly High. And like always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for some more Haikyu Fly High videos. So the select recruit for today is going to be a bunch of Fukurodani team members. So we have the opposite hitter, the middle blocker, as well as their libero. So starting off, we have Haruki here. He is the libero, so he's going to be specializing in receive, save, and set. And yeah, overall as a libero, I think he is a decent pickup. Now again, if you don't have a Fukurodani team, it might be the best idea to skip all three of these guys. But at the same time, they have some memories that I think are going to be beneficial for their position specifically. And yes, they do specialize around the team morale kind of system here. And it's not like team morale is only specific to Fukurodani and Bokuto. It's actually beneficial for every team because it gives an increase to stats. So if you want morale to happen faster and those awakenings to happen faster or last longer or more things to happen while those team morale awakenings happen, it's actually not that bad of an idea. So for his first skill, he has Defensive Maestro, and what it does is it increases his receive stat by 8%. And if his receive result is not bad, it reduces the opponent's team morale by 12, which is actually fairly good because bad receives don't happen too often. And so yeah, getting a decrease to 12, 24, 36 morale is going to be very nice. So I really like this ability that he has, Team Enabler. So what it does is he performs a save with 110% of his save stat. If the result is not bad, all your players gain 5% basic stats for one turn. So this could happen pretty frequently, and so you get a 5% boost multiple times during a game. Now this skill is going to be very useful for people who don't have an SSR Libero, Trusted Receive. So if you do all of his trainings, you unlock this ability. And what it is when he's receiving a power spike, Haruki's receive gains an additional 30% based on his receive stat. And as we know, a lot of guys in this game use power spikes. I think the balance is a little bit too much towards power in this game right now, but when receiving a power spike, which is going to happen pretty often, you're going to get an additional boost. And then his ultimate is just a generic receive. He does it with 235% of his receive stat. So if you did want to pick up multiple copies of Haruki, he reduces the cooldown of steady receive to 6 net crossings at skill res 2. And when steady receive is used, your side gains 3% to their power attack stat, stacking up to 5 times, which is very nice. That's going to really help the Bokuto players. And then his skill res 4 is when your side loses a point, the next receive by a back row player gains bonus power equal to 30% of their receive stat. I wouldn't go for this. That's a okay boost, but it's not the end of the world. Definitely skill res 2 if you have Bokuto and you want to pair him with Haruki. This is probably what you guys want to be aiming for. So overall thoughts on Haruki, a very solid libero, similar to Yamagata where it's on his own, he's very solid, he'll give you a lot of benefits, but if you pair him with his team, whether that's Fukurodani for Haruki or it's Shiratorizawa with Yamagata, you'll find those extra boosts and those extra synergy kind of combinations with people like Bokuto or Ushijima respectively. So moving on, we have Konoha, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He is an opposite hitter, and he focuses mainly on power attack and receive, and he's also a decent blocker and save actually. So he's a very well-rounded player there because you have serve at 103, receive at 105, block at 109, save at 110, and then obviously power attack at 120. So his first skill is Enhanced Reception, and it increases his receive stat by 8%. And when your team is in the Team Morale Awakening, his receive and save stats go up by an additional 10%. Again, it seems like he is their version of Daichi, where he focuses more on defense than offense. His next skill is a passive skill, it's Coordinated Save, and he performs a save with 120% of his save stat. When you do all of his trainings, you get positional boosts, so when he's in the front row, it increases your front row players' block by 8% and power/quick attack by 8%, so everybody will benefit when he's in the front row. And when he's in the back row, it increases your back row's players' receive and save stats by 8%. So this skill here, it's really good for all teams. So again, if you're missing an opposite hitter, potentially you have an SR character there, you can get Konoha and his positional boost skill will benefit you greatly. And then his final ability, Jack of all trades, is his ultimate. He performs a receive with 225% of his receive stat, and if the result is not bad, increases your team morale by 20. So again, you don't really go wrong here with having him on any team, but again, if you have a Fukurodani team with Bokuto, you're going to want this character. So going into his skill res 2, when his receive result is not bad, your side's next setter gains 10% set stat and 8% awareness. So a decent skill res 2 ability, but nothing crazy. I actually think his skill res 4 is very good if you have the full Fukurodani team. So what it says here is when Konoha is on the court, if your side is in Team Morale Awakening, receives with a result not bad will not reduce the duration of Team Morale Awakening. So those little dots at the top there, when your guys do a receive that is not bad, that dot won't like be a -1, it'll stay. So that is very, very nice. So I think we're witnessing a common theme here. Konoha as an opposite hitter on his own is very, very solid, but if you pair him with the Fukurodani team, just like the Libero, it's going to be an even better experience and he's going to flourish very nicely. So last up we have Washio, and Washio is a middle blocker, so he's going to focus on his block and quick attacks like most middle blockers in this game. So I really like Washio's pressure block ability here. So basically what happens is it increases his block by a certain percentage, and when he performs a block, your side's next receive gains 20% bonus based on whoever's player's receive stat it is, but if the block result is not bad, it increases his block stat by an additional 20% for his next block. And this is passive, so I believe this can just keep stacking because it doesn't say that it does stack, so I don't know if it's just infinite, that you just keep going as long as his block isn't bad. So this could be very, very nice. And if it doesn't stack, then at the very least you'll get a 20% boost per each block, essentially. Next up, he has Tower Strike, which is just a quick spike with 120% of his quick attack stat. So his training ability, Silent Counter, when an opponent performs a critical action, Washio gains 2% to both his block and quick attack stats, stacking up to 5 times, which is, decent, it's nothing crazy. And his ultimate is Tower Block, so he performs a block with 220% of his block stat. So it's not like he's those middle blockers like Tsukishima, Kuro, Hirugami when he comes out, that puts debuffs on the opponent. It's more so he benefits your side. So skill res 2 is when he's on the court and your side scores, increase your team morale by 10%. And if you're in Team Morale Awakening, his block stat increases by 5%, stacking up to 3 times, which is a pretty decent skill res 2. It's definitely better than Konoha's. And then his skill res 4 is when Washio's block result is not bad, your side's next blocker gains 15% of his block stat. So not the greatest in terms of skill res 4 here, so I would probably go to 2 if you are gonna get dupes of him. I would try to go to 4 for Konoha, I would try to go to 2 at least for Washio. And then for Haruki here, I think 2 is probably the spot where you want to be at. So now going into their memory, so if you start with Haruki again, so you're going to get a big boost to receive and save, a decent one to set as well, and the exclusive effect, so increase the equipper's receive and save stats by 8%, which is pretty standard for a Libero. When the equipper performs a receive or save that is not bad, your side gains 10 morale, which is always very nice. Again, like I said, team morale is not just a Fukurodani team thing, like you can have it with every team essentially, and you get a bonus no matter what. So this, if you don't have a legendary Libero memory, this is pretty good to put on your Libero, and that's what I actually plan to do with Yamagata. Because right now with Yamagata, I have the purple Nishinoya memory on him. So I'm going to be trying to pick this one up. So for Konoha, he improves his receive and his power / quick attack are the main 2 stats you'll see a boost in. And his exclusive effects is increases the equipper's basic stats by 6%. The equipper gains additional reflex equal to 10% of your team morale. And when you're in Team Morale Awakening, the equipper's reflex further increases by 4%. So when it comes to exclusive effects for Konoha, if you have the SSR Daichi and you don't have his memory, this is a good one to pick up for him. Because most opposite hitters, I think it's just Konoha and Daichi, they're more defensive. And then you have guys like Ushijima and Kiyotani who are more offensive. So I probably wouldn't put this memory on them unless you just want the boost. That is an option. But yeah, in terms of exclusive effects, this would fit well on Daichi. And then last up, we have Washio's memory. So he, of course, gets a boost to block and power / quick attack as his top 2 stats. And when it comes to exclusive effects, it increases the equipper's block stat by 12%, which is nice. When the equipper blocks and the opponent performs a critical spike, this block is guaranteed to be critical. If the block result is not bad, the equipper's block stat increases by 3%, stacking up to 3 times. So this memory is very good for any middle blocker because, again, it's nothing specific to morale or anything kind of weird. It's just what blockers are supposed to do, and you counter critical spikes, which is very nice. And yeah, this is just overall a very good memory. So if you don't have a middle blocker with a legendary memory, pick this one up. And if you don't have a Libero with legendary memory, pick this one up. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know down below in the comments, are you going to be picking up any of the players or memories in the new Select Recruit banner? And like always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Peace.